I'm so excited to have Dr. Lee Koles with us today because Lee is absolutely amazing when it comes to career development and finding your next great opportunity. And as you're going to see, she has a really powerful tool to share with you. So, Dr. Lee, welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's totally my pleasure. And so, tell folks a little bit about CareerSequel. What's the business that you run? And then what do you offer the clients that you work with?
Mhm. So I am an industrial organizational psychologist and a career strategist, and people come to me when they are ready for something new, something they want a next step in their career. And I have people of all ages. I have people just getting ready to graduate from college, and they're like, not, they don't know exactly what they want to do, and they want to make sure that that step that they take is going to be the right one for them at that time. They want to do something, be a little bit more strategic with their career, and they're not willing to just take whatever falls into their lap because they want it to be something that targets their strengths and what they're good at. But I also have people who have been out of the workforce and are looking to go back in. And I have people who have had a long, successful job in a certain industry and are ready for that change.
Oh, you are the perfect person to be speaking with here at the start of 2023. Because I
Yes.
know there are so many people out there who say, this is the year I'm going to do something for myself. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
plunge into that adventure that's right for me. But the only question is, what is right? And so I understand that you have a tool today that can help people figure out that right path, not based on guesswork or just hoping and praying, but really on what's sort of fits them naturally. Tell us more about that.
Right. Well, so often when we're looking to do what's next, we ask other people, or maybe we have family members or friends who, throw us an opportunity and we think, okay, maybe we should do that. But when I work with someone, I say, okay, full stop. Let's take a deep dive into you, and not just you and everything, but what are your strengths? What is unique about you? Things that you do that that are unique to you. And so many people just can't even answer that question because you're just living in yourself, and you can't see what's unique about yourself. You can't see what you can do that other people can't do. So the tool that I use that I would love everyone to get a hold of, because I think it's so powerful, it's the Clifton StrengthsFinder.
Aha. And so I know you're going to go ahead and share your screen, Lee, because people want to see
Okay.
what this actually looks like. And as you do that, I know people have heard of StrengthsFinder, they've heard of Enneagram, they've heard of Myers-Briggs. What makes StrengthsFinder different from all these other things that people may have heard of in the same breath?
Okay. So I love this question, Jeremy, because people do kind of talk about Clifton Strengths, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram in the same breath, and they are very, very different.
Mm,
So Clifton Strengths is unique because it is not a personality test.
mm,
Okay, so it originated from studies of psychologists, studies, workplace psychologists, studies of excellence. So they were trying to discover what makes excellent work, what makes someone do excellent work. And what they discovered is that there are different pathways to excellence. And so Donald Clifton was the founder of Clifton Strengths, but it's been based on 50 years of research, his research in the workplace. What do people do to achieve a goal, to achieve a successful solution? And he ended up with 34 themes, and I'm
mm.
going to call them strengths just for ease, but 34 strengths that you can use, that different people could use. And so you're not supposed to use all 34. There are going to be some that you don't use and some that you use. I like to focus on the top 5 strengths. And that's what the strengths assessment, it measures your instincts. Like, how do you solve problems? How do you achieve goals? What's your go-to? And once you learn your top 5 strengths, those are your highways to excellence. Like, forget those gravel roads. Like, if you just focus on your strengths without worrying about putting pavement down on those gravel roads that are bumpy and have holes in them, and you're not so great at those things. If you focus on your strengths, you are going to be able to achieve your goals so much quicker.
Oh, I love that analogy. And I
Mhm.
understand that you're kind enough to share your own personal strengths or themes with us to give us a
Yes.
taste of what that looks like. So if you don't mind,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. So, oh, and I just wanted to also just
yeah.
to define for people, a strength is defined as those activities that you can carry out with consistent, near perfect performance. So they're
Mm,
things that you just automatically do really well
wow.
without even thinking about it. And because you hardly think about it, you don't really you're not as aware of them. So that's why it's really fun to get your strengths assessment. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and
This is so
these
exciting. The moment of
are
truth.
yes. Okay. So these are my top 5 strengths. Like I said, if when you do the Clifton strengths, they rank order 34. I like to focus on the top 5 because it can be overwhelming, and we don't want to worry about number 34. Okay. That the whole purpose of StrengthsFinder is like, let's focus on the things that you are automatically good at. So, for instance, my top strength is developer.
Mm,
And the definition is people exceptionally talented in the developer theme recognize and cultivate the potential in others. They spot the signs of each small improvement and derive satisfaction from evidence of progress. So, I was excited to see that was my top strength because that's what I do. I work with people to get them to recognize their potential and to carry out their potential.
oh, I love that. And so imagine now that we have someone who's getting their own strengths for the first time, and you see this top 5. What advice would you give them, Lee, in terms of processing that? Like, what do you do with this information? How do you apply it in your life?
Yes. So I want to say that you get these top 5 strengths, right? But then there are reports, and we can talk about that later. So you get a lot of information from doing the Clifton strengths. And first of all, you just have to sit down and digest it. Just read it through, and ask yourself, does this sound like me? Which parts of the descriptions, because you get some reports, right? They're longer than just these definitions here. So the first step is to just kind of claim your strengths.
Hmm.
Like, this is me. I see when I do these, exercise, or like these things throughout my day, I see these strengths coming up. So really thinking about that, and just opening your mind to, gosh, I guess this is what I do. That is the first step. The second step is to claim your strength. So, no, first step is to name the strengths. I'm sorry. Gallup has their little jingle. There's name it, claim it, and aim it. Okay. So
Oh,
first you name them, they're named. Then you claim them. That involves digging deeper, having conversations with other people, saying, hey, like, show them your strengths report and say, what do you think of this? What are examples when I've used this? And when you have those conversations with other people, you all of a sudden realize, oh my gosh, that is me. You start to claim it.
yeah.
Okay. And then the final step is aim it. And that is, once you really own your strengths and really know who you are and what you're naturally good at, how you're good at certain things that other people aren't good at, you can use those to achieve your goals. You can say, okay, this is my goal for the year. I want to do this. And then how can I use my strengths to help me do that? And in terms of a career, you want to be sure that when you are looking for a career, or you're looking for that next step, that you have an opportunity to use those strengths with whatever that next step is going to be for you.
Oh, I love that. Name it, claim it, aim it. And so
Yes.
let's make this really concrete for listeners out there. Imagine someone had come into you with these exact same 5 strengths. And they said, Lee, I love these strengths. These feel right to me, but I have no idea what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
How would you help them think through what they could be doing in 2023 to aim them at the world that is most compatible with their strengths?
Yeah. Well, that's where it really is helpful to have a coach with this.
Yes.
I definitely feel it's very valuable to just have the reports and to be able to name them and to read them and to have those discussions. But you have to take the time to actually work with these strengths and develop goals and look through each strength and really talk through. And you could do this even with a friend. If you don't want to hire a coach or you don't have a coach, you can have a partner or a family member and you can walk through and talk to them about it as well. And just kind of get some investment with another person, get ideas from another person. Because again, other people, they can see these things in you so much better than you can see them in yourself.
And I know what people are thinking right now. They're like, okay, that's great. If I have a coach, if I have people who are just really worldly in my network. But if I went to LinkedIn or Indeed and I typed in includer, harmony, restorative, it's not going to give me jobs because there's a
Mhm.
disconnect between that language and the language of, job descriptions. How do I cross that bridge?
Well, so when you get your strengths report, it goes into detail on how these things come up in your life, like
Ah,
how you use develop. Like, so for example, developer talks about recognizing, cultivating the potential in others.
mm,
Okay. What kind of careers could I go into that would help me use that strength where I get to talk to other people and recognize their potential and help them achieve the next level. So I might think, of course, of coach, which
yeah,
I
sure.
am, but also, a teacher, a professor, a trainer, human resources development. I mean, there are, these are what you get to extrapolate from learning about your strengths.
And I can even imagine like maybe you're doing some informational interviews with people whose jobs you
Mhm.
think might be a good fit. You could say how much of your time do you get to spend cultivating the people around you? How
That
much
is so
time are you
true.
building harmony on your team and see if you actually get a chance to play to those strengths?
Right. That is so true. These strengths are very useful with informational interviews because these are things that you do well. And so, for example, harmony. Okay. That's my number three. People exceptionally talented in harmony theme look for consensus. They don't enjoy conflict. Rather, they seek areas of agreement. So, if I am in a job interview or if I'm doing an informational interview or checking out a field, and say I'm thinking about working in a law office where people, lawyers they are very comfortable not
Mhm.
having harmony.
That's right.
A prosecuting attorney, their harmony is probably going to be in the 30s because they don't need it. They're absolutely comfortable and fine without it. So, but that might be a question you could ask. So tell me about the environment at the office. Like what is the culture here? What is that? Is it collaborative? Is it or how much conflict is there in, dealing with people in your job? Like if you want to work in the emergency room, there may be conflicts that come up with just people coming in off the street or patients or that. So these can actually help you spur questions that you can ask during informational interviews.
Oh, I love that. And so
Mhm.
then here's my big question. There is
Okay.
so much emphasis in our culture, Lee, it seems like, on filling in your deficits. Like, oh,
Hmm.
you don't know how to code? Go to a coding boot camp. Oh, you're not
Yeah.
a great, presenter? Go to a session on learning how to be, a better communicator. And when it sounds like what you're saying is that actually don't spend so much of your life worrying about trying to become better at things. Why not just play to your strengths and have that smooth highway? Is that right?
Right. Well, it is the quickest path to excellence.
Ah,
So, yes, you can there may be areas that you could work and work and work on and you may improve. So for instance, sometimes I do strengths workshops at organizations. And one of the exercises I have people do is I say, okay, I want you to write your goal. Write your goal, but I want you to write it with your non-dominant hand.
ah.
And so people, they write it all out and I say, and I say, okay, how about you write that 10 more times? And people are like, oh no, don't make me do that. And I said, no, no, it's okay. I'm not going to make you do that. But that if you just write it with your dominant hand, it just goes so much more
Yes.
smoothly. Yes, if I write my goal with my left hand, which is non-dominant, if I do that 100 times, maybe it'll start looking more like my right hand. But you can spend so much energy working on things that are going to, maybe improve a little bit, but they're never going to be as strong as things that you're naturally good at.
Wow. Wow. And I think one of those things is just life is short. Why not live your best life by doing the stuff that you love doing that feels natural to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be your go-to in terms of if you're looking for what path do I take, that path that feels good, that could be the path for you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is super helpful, Lee. Last question. If someone wanted to go ahead and do strengths assessment, and then they wanted to get support maybe from yourself to learn more about how to interpret those results, what are the steps involved? How would they do that?
To wait, to do it themselves?
Yeah. So first of all, to get access to the StrengthsFinder tool
Yeah.
to do
So
that assessment, and then
anyone,
also, yeah.
yeah, so anyone can go and look up the Strengths Finder. So I'm going to show, I skipped here to ahead for you. So this is gallup.com.
Ah, okay, cool.
You go to where it says shop.
Mhm.
Okay, click on shop and look, they want to upsell you the 34. Okay. Now I think it's great to have your 34, but I don't recommend that you do that right away. You don't need to spend the $659.99 on that. So scroll down. You can always go back for it later, but
Right.
start off with top 5. It's enough. Believe me, it's enough to digest your top 5. So then you go down here, Clifton Strengths, learn more, click here. And again, they're going to try to upsell you on other things. Scroll down, scroll down. This is what you need. Okay. The top 5 Clifton Strengths, $19.99. And then you click here. So that is the one that I recommend.
You just saved everyone out there $35, Lee. Thank
I
you so much.
know. You're
Um,
welcome.
and I think that's the whole point of strengths, right? Is like,
Mhm.
if you're going to play to your strengths, why not play to your top ones? Why worry about all the rest when you can focus on what matters most?
Right. And I want you to know that when you take this assessment, if you take this 1999, it has all the data for your full 34.
Yeah.
So if you want to go back and you pay the extra, it'll just, boom, you'll get your top 34. It's not like you have to take the assessment again.
Cool, cool. And then
Mhm.
finally, if folks say, hey, I've done this, I've got my top 5, but I'm still struggling a little bit, how would they engage with CareerSequel? How could they have a conversation with you about it?
Well, yes, that's like I said, that's the first thing I do when I work with people. And when I work with people, I include the Clifton Strengths in my
Oh,
service.
okay,
That's
cool, cool.
yeah. So they don't have to do this at all on their own. I include it in my services. So you can go to careersequel.com, or I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm also on Instagram, but LinkedIn's my happy place. I'm there all the time. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, just send me a connection request. Tell me that you saw me on Jeremy's podcast, and reach out to me. You can also email me directly at leekoles@careersequel.com. And that's LeeKoles@careersequel.com.
Wonderful. Well, I feel like even with the holidays just having passed, this is probably the best gift that any job seeker, career changer, anyone who's not sort of feeling like they're living their best life could invest in for 2023. Would you agree, Lee?
I would. I've actually, a lot of people did get this for themselves and for their spouses and their
Aha.
friends, for Christmas gifts and Hanukkah gifts. So that is something that it's perfect for this time of year, just to really get a close feel on who you are, what sets you apart, to get you on target for that next step.
Well, I have to thank you so much. We've been talking with Dr. Lee Koles from CareerSequel. She just shared a really sort of very specific and concrete way to start off the new year right and start building the life you want. So, Dr. Lee, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. And to everyone out there, here's wishing you a fantastic and successful new year.